Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Comics with Callaway, and today we're going to talk about IDW's and Netflix, the TV show Lock and Key, Episode 1. Um, I haven't read the comic books by Joe Hill, so I'm not up to speed with what the story is and what it's about. I just know from what I've seen in Episode 1 of the TV show. From what we can tell straight up from Episode 1, it's about a haunted house, if you want to call it that, a key house that has magical keys hidden around in the house, and it's got a well out in the out in the out in the barn with a woman in it, an echo. And I'll first run down the characters. We have the dad. He dies early on. He's Bill Heck. He plays Rendell Locke. The mother, played by Darby Stanchfield, she plays Nina Locke. Then the eldest son, Connor Jessup, he plays the son Tyler. The daughter, played by Amelia Jones, she plays Kinsey. And the youngest son, Bodie, who he's a big part of the first episode, Jackson Scott, plays Bodie Locke. And then they have an uncle, Aaron Ashmore. He was Jimmy Olsen from Smallville, if I'm not mistaken. He plays Duncan Locke. He's the uncle to the kids. And then one of the other characters in the episode was Scott. He's the guy who works at the ice cream shop. So it starts off they're leaving Seattle. I think their father's just died, and they've got their house in Massachusetts, I think it was. So they go to this house, and they can't understand why they've never been there and why he's never showed them. So they go to this house for a fresh start. And when they get there, they meet Duncan, which was the father's brother, I think, on his dad's side, the uncle. They talk to him, and he explains the house to them. He takes them into the house and gives them a tour. And they go around, and they they can't understand why they've never been there, or who would want to live there, and why do they have to be there, and why their father never took them there. And the uncle says, I tried to get my brother to sell it, but Rendell didn't want to sell it. And I've stayed away from it. I have never renovated it or anything like that. So we could renovate it and sell it. And the wife says that she wanted a fresh start, something different, a project. So they moved to the East Coast. And I was a bit worried at the start with the eldest daughter's character, Kinsey. She was playing the character was coming across as the modern age teenager angsty character that just sort of gets on your nerves. That's just the annoying angsty character that's always in a crappy mood and just thinks they know better than everybody. So I was a bit worried at the start with her character that she was going to be this angsty, annoying teenage character. But as the episode goes on, her character becomes likable and quite interesting. The eldest son, Tyler, when we first see him at the first scene, he's in the car with his headphones, and he's not really talking, and just sort of out of reality a little bit. And we find out in the first half of the episode that when him and his sister are standing on standing over the water looking out of the view, we learn that he was fighting with his dad a lot before his dad died, and he blames himself for his father's death. So we get that bit of a backstory in his character. The mother, we get a flashback with the husband, and she's painting art. So I'm guessing that she's an artist or a painter or something like that. And Bodie, the youngest son, he's just a young kid. So we start off, the kids and stuff go to school. The oldest two go to school. The mother goes into town, and Bodie starts touring the house and looking around the house. And he finds the well, and he takes a pic. He's got his Polaroid camera. He must take pictures of everything, because he saw when they were in the car scene driving from Seattle to the East Coast, he was taking pictures with his Polaroid camera. And so he goes out to the well and he takes a picture in the well and he yells out, "Is anybody down there?" Da da da. And he takes a picture of down inside the well and then he leaves. And as he gets to the door to leave, he turns around and the Polaroid camera, the printout photo, is sitting up on the wall of the well. So he goes and gets it, and then he screams down the well, "Is anybody there? Is this my echo?" And the woman at the bottom of the well says, "Yes, I'm your echo." So he screams and he he leaves the well and scared. And he tells the family, and they all go out there, and then nothing happens, so they don't believe him. Yeah. Typical, the typical story, I guess. So they don't believe him. So the story goes on, and the kids go to school, and the eldest son is a hockey player. The eldest daughter forms a bit of a friendship relationship with Scott, the ice cream store guy, and um, they go to the eldest son goes to a party, and then the daughter, sorry, she goes with Scott and his friends to watch a movie, and they're watching a haunted movie, and it's a little bit close to home for her, and she freaks out and she leaves because it reminds her of her father's death and things like that. So anyway, Bodie is he goes back and talks to the woman in the bottom of the well, and she tells him that there is keys hidden everywhere in the house that call out to you and whisper to you. You just got to find them. And the first key is a key that takes you to wherever you want, and he tests it out. And in typical kid fashion, he goes to an ice cream shop. And when he gets there, he can't work out that he's actually there, and it's actually reality. And then he finds another key, which the woman in the well says you can talk to dead people, or you can talk to people that have passed on. So he wants to talk to his dad, so his family can talk to his dad. So he finds that key I think he found that key in the sink, down in the garbage disposal, down in the pipes under the sink. So he uses it on the mirror, and he puts his hand in there, and he realizes that that's where it goes to, and that the reflection in the mirror is then telling him to come into the mirror. So he calls out to his mother, and his mother comes in, and she gets sucked in, and she goes into the mirror, and then then it's like a big mirror effect in there, and there's mirrors everywhere, and there's lots of her in there, and then she can't find a way back out because it's a mirrored effect. And then she touches one of the mirrors inside, a reflection, and the glass breaks, and then it makes even more images of her, and then she's really lost. So then she screams out, and she can't get back out. So Bodhi runs to tell his other brother and sister what's happened. So they still don't believe him. So they run in and they go and have a look. And Tyler, he looks in the mirror and he sees what's happening, and he sees the reflection telling him to come in and move. And he's like, "That's not right." So they tie a rope around him so he can go in and get his mum, so they can pull him back out. And when he goes in there, there's a mirror effect of 1,000,000 him and 1,000,000 of his mother, and then they don't know where they are. And then he touches the glass, and then that breaks. So then they realize if they just calm down and they talk, they can find each other's voice, and they find each other that way, and then they get pulled out by the rope from that brother and sister. And then they realize what's happening, and they realize what's wrong with the house, and that Bodhi was right. But the mother, she goes, something happens, and she goes back and she forgets all about it, like her mind hasn't comprehended what just happened, and she goes on as normal life, and the kids are all confused. So then Billy, he goes back to the well to talk to the woman in the well, and he's like, basically, "You lied to me. You said I could see my father. I could see people who have died." And she says, "You can. People have died in there, and we've seen the skeletons and stuff in that mirror room." And she says, People do die in there because they can't find their way out." So then she takes off and goes into the closet, and Bodhi tries to go after her, and then he opens the door, and it's just broom closet or something like that. So then we skip ahead, and then it goes, the woman in the well is in the prison, and she goes and visits the young man that killed the Locke's father. And she says, I told you I would visit you. And in the flashback scene when he killed the father, he said, tell me about the key house. So we're obviously in the next episodes, and as it goes on, we're going to get his backstory and what happens and the lore about this house. So I look forward to it. I am going to review the next episode and so on. I'm going to try to, at least. There was no real SJW agenda nonsense in there. It was just a story. It was a good story. It started out slow, but it ended up becoming very interesting in the end. The episodes are an hour long, which means the season's shorter, which is I like it better than the 40-minute, 24 episode seasons that just drag on too long. The short seasons are a lot better. There was no nonsense, no agendas, politics and stuff in it. It was just story. It was really good. Started out slow, but it worked its way up to it ended pretty good episode 1, and I liked it and enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think of the episode. Whether you think I'm wrong or right, or whether you have different opinions of it. Put it in the comments below, and if you like me ramble on about TV shows and comics, please like and subscribe to the channel. I've just started. Be much appreciated for the support. Like, subscribe, and share it, and we'll see if we can grow the channel. Thanks, guys.